It's Mark Zickery, Mr. Sci-Fi, also Mark Zickery of Space Command. I'm here
Hi.
with our wonderful Space Command stars. It's Katherine McEwan and Jelena. Now pronounce your last name, Jelena. I want to get it right.
Mrdja.
Mrdja. Yes?
Mrdja, yeah.
Mrdja. Got it, got it, got it. So thanks to the wonders of coronavirus, we are now linked via Zoom, and you're in Serbia, right? Right, Jelena?
Yes, I am in Serbia. I am in Serbia.
And you might want to explain why you're in Serbia.
Well, it's just like I've been in America for a really, really long time in continuity without coming to see my family. I am from Serbia to begin with.
Yes.
Um, and in the meantime, I've made a family. We have a kid who is now banging at my door.
Yeah.
Hashtag working from home. Jack, can you please stop? Mommy loves you so much. And
Yes.
and so with everything having been slowed down to a point where like most of mine and Gregor's work in productions that we're working on, it's just online communication. We were like, this is a perfect time to come and see family.
Yes.
And also we have just like a ton of work to do and a couple of projects here actually that have been sort of on hold. And so now all of that can come to fruition because, you know, space has opened up for all the stuff that's been on hold.
Yeah, well, that's great. And Catherine, so now you're in LA,
I
correct?
am.
Yes,
Yeah.
but you're not originally from Los Angeles, right?
No, I'm originally from the north of England, and then I left England when I was 19 and lived abroad. I'd
Hmm.
go back and forth into London, to make money, but I traveled quite extensively. And then I think one of my older sisters got a little concerned and she kind of took me aside and she's like, it's been a while. You need to think about a career. And this is all fun now in your 20s, but, you know, you don't want to be holly-go-lightly forever. So I said, okay, fine. And she helped me get back into acting, which was the one thing I loved. And then she kind of really took me under her wing and got me an audition for a drama school in LA. And then I moved to LA in 2002 and studied for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And
Great.
I've been here ever since. But
Yay.
yeah, I do miss my family, and I took for granted I'd always be able to go to England, and I hadn't actually been for 2 years. And then this happened, and really brought into sharp focus how much I took for granted being able to travel whenever I want. And now, thank God for Zoom, I'm chatting to my family over Zoom and WhatsApp, and yeah.
Yes. Well, so why don't we start with this wonderful conversation, which is a continuation of the Space Command Convention, which we're sharing with our fans around the world. So why don't we start, Jelena and then Catherine? We can start with what roles you play and how you first got involved in Space Command. So why don't we start with you, Jelena?
Oh, I love that story, Mark. We've known Mark and we've known each other for years, and I heard that you had that whole thing where you were searching for talent, and there was a huge audition where people were submitting their clips online to get a role in Space Command, and I know I approached you and said, how do I submit a clip? And you said, no, 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 I'm writing you a role for you. And I just couldn't believe you. I was like, I need to submit a clip. So I went online and I submitted a clip anyway. And you contacted me and said, Jelena, thank you so much for submitting that clip. However, I have a role that I'm writing specifically for you. So back off, girl. You don't have to do anything. So it was kind of the coolest way to book an acting job. I never even thought that could happen to me.
Uh-huh.
And so then the next great thing was that you asked me about Mira Furlan, and she's such a beautiful, gorgeous actress and soul. And we have at that time I didn't personally know her, but we had many mutual friends, and many of my friends have worked with her, and I've always admired her so much. And you had said to me that I'm gonna be in this movie, because back then it was just going to be one movie.
Mm-hmm.
You said that I was going to be playing her daughter, and we're going to get to speak Serbo-Croatian in the movie. And I was just so over the moon. And then we had breakfast, I think, you and me and Elaine and Mira, and that was a blast. And that's how I got involved.
Hmm.
And then the character I play has also been, it's just been so cool to have that happen at that time, because I was personally going through like a major maturity, like growth basically, which I feel like we're all always growing. But this character, Mira and I are playing these like xenoarchaeologists, which is basically archaeologists in space. And so in the beginning of the movie, basically the girl I play just cares about herself and her mom and doesn't really give a crap about anything else or anyone else. And toward the end of the movie, she kind of gets it, that there's something about, you know, caring for others as well. And
Hmm.
that's her arc. And I was so grateful that, you know, because many times like people write roles and it's just, you know, there's no arc, there's like nothing there. And this was so juicy for me to play with and to
Hmm.
explore this like maturity, like where she goes from being a girl to
Hmm.
being a grown woman that actually is aware of her responsibility in the world. And especially now with everything going on, like
Yes.
reflecting on that, I love it. I feel so blessed that I was able to be a part of that.
Cool. That's great. And Catherine, do you want to talk about how you first got involved in this interesting journey, long-term journey?
Yes, we met by your round table, didn't we?
Yes.
That's right. So was that at Patty's?
Yes, back then it was, yes.
Patty's on Ventura. So yeah, we met there, and then I worked with Neil Johnson on a couple of sci-fi movies, and that was really my first foray into that. I hadn't really. I love it as a genre because you know you get to speak about the real world and in a science fiction way, but you can kind of address issues in a really uncomplicated way. But I yeah, and then we met, and then you. I think I was at the Cannes Film Festival, and I was bunking in with all the actors because you know it was my first time at Cannes, and it's expensive there, and so we were all in these bunk beds, and you called me, and I was in my bunk bed, and it was very unglamorous. And then you called and said, "Oh, I've written this character for you, Odara Tallinn." And
Hmm.
I remember just being like, "Yeah!" I was really excited. And she was awesome. Yeah, she's an awesome character. How you described her and her journey and how she evolved, and you know, yeah, it was
Yeah.
great. It was really great.
Well, it's fun because the two of you are basically the relationships of Mira's character Von Odara. So we get to see her in context with her daughter, and then in context, of course, with her wife. You play
Yeah.
her spouse ultimately, and it's very very fun because I remember when I first, because I met Mira, of course, when I wrote for Babylon 5, and back then I knew that she spoke Serbo-Croatian, and I very much wanted to work with her again. So when I met you, Jelena, I thought, oh, this would be perfect, you know, mother-daughter, because someone said to me early on, are there going to be languages in Space Command, foreign languages? And they said, no, I don't mean Klingon or Vulcan or these fake languages. I mean like the real languages that are on Earth. And I thought, sure, of course. So I very much wanted to have other languages, and Serbo-Croatian seemed like a great choice because I thought I could cast you, Jelena, and Mira, and off we go. And I remember when I met with Mira to discuss her role, this was very early in the process, and I said, I don't know much about her yet. I know she's a xenoarchaeologist. I know she has a loving but stormy relationship with her daughter, and she's not defined by a man. And she said, I'm in. so, so I thought that was great. And but then it was very fun to start to expand now. It's fun because with you, Jelena, we get to see the arc of the relationship, and even more so in the second hour of the pilot, and then that's where we'll be introduced, of course, to your character,
Mm.
Catherine, because we see a great scene with the two of you at the end, and then ripple effect came along because we're all here with the pandemic, and I thought, oh, it'd be so fun to go deeper into some of these characters and show a little, kind of tease a little bit and tantalize, and uh, and so you were both kind enough to be in this crazy, 2-hour episode uh, that we're doing. So, and also the other fun part is that with both of you, we shot scenes on in real locations, such as the parkland outside our studio, and with you yelling on the alien ship and all of that stuff, the cave set. But we also shot green screen stuff with both of you. So until you see the finished shots, you won't, I mean, with you, Jelena, we're just completing the scene where you're on Ceres calling for help and trying to get away, and they're searching for you. And finally we have actual buildings and backgrounds. And with you, Katherine, there's the scene where you and Mira walk up to this giant statue of Jack Kemmer, and this is actually the size. We have a bronze one of these, but this is the size of the statue. But in the show, it'll actually be like 10 feet tall. But here
That's
it's like,
so cool.
yes, that's
Yeah. Did you make that on a 3D printer?
yes. We scanned Ethan
Wow.
up and printed out a copy, and then we put a bronze patina on it and then in the background, far in the background, it'll be like a sculpture garden in that parkland, and you'll see this a bronze statue of this guy in the background too, which is of course is me. So
That is
Love it.
amazing. And then it can be sold as an action figure
yes,
with all of the merch. I
yes,
see the plan.
yes. So I think it's fun that we get to see both of you in Space Command, and of course, Katherine, you'll have a lot more to do once we roll camera again, because your journey is just starting at the end of
Yes.
Redemption.
Can't wait. What a journey.
Yes, I don't know if
Yeah, I really loved about our relationship with Dr. Von Odara is the loyalty that we have for each other and how enduring that love is. I
yes,
really love that. That really struck me about it, even when she was written as a man, because obviously, wasn't it first going to be one thing, and then you decided that Mira Furlan, you met, or you didn't meet her, but you were like, this will be perfect.
it was always going to be a woman, because
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, but that's fine. No, but also just speaking to that, the one reason I wanted to have her be in a gay relationship, to have a wife, was because Sally Ride, who was the first American woman in space, when she died, they mentioned that she had this longtime partner, and I thought, why aren't they teaching in schools that she was gay? Because if someone said, well, how many gay astronauts are there? People would say none, as far as we know. And I thought, where the gay women in science fiction, the gay women in the space program are not heralded, and I thought that was a great mistake. And so I wanted to create, basically with Space Command, I want to create a world like the world I live in, and so that was why I very much wanted that. But I asked you and I asked Mira if it would be okay to be in that
Yeah.
relationship. Unfortunately, you both said yes.
Absolutely, yeah. I was thrilled. I mean, who wouldn't want to date Mira Furlan?
Yes, exactly.
She's awesome. I was thrilled that and I loved their relationship, and I loved like I said, their loyalty that they had for each other, and how enduring their love was, and how, that was one of the things I felt that gave my character the will to live and will to continue,
Yes. And well, I think it's fun because one of the key themes of Space Command is love and compassion. It's the connections we make with other people that allow us to have meaningful lives. And with both of you, it's about, loving this person to such a great degree and being loved by her. So because you two are the people she most loves in the world, and it's very fun because, Jelena, when you're talking about um, that character's self-involvement, it's not exactly self-involvement, because she really loves her mother and she wants to save not just herself but her mother. But then she comes to have but then her mother's trying to teach her a lesson, which is, it's not just about us. We are linked to all these other people, and we must be there for them. And it's that larger lesson. So, and then of course, Katherine, you already start with this depth of soul. I mean, it's fun because Mira has such a great soul and such a great quality, and then to see her in something you almost never see in science fiction is people's familial connections. You almost never see, like Captain Kirk, he doesn't have a wife, or who are their kids, you never see the connection. And so I wanted in Space Command very much to have that their spouses, their families, their lives in that.
I love that, Mark, because that is the universal thing that connects us all. We all have a family, varying degrees of crazy or dysfunctional or normal or wonderful, but we all have something resembling a family, and I feel like that's one way that we can all really connect.
Yes.
I know that's another theme that you and Elaine are passionate about, is this sense of we're all connected and we're so much more similar than we are different. And
Yes.
despite all of our differences and diversity, which is so important, we are also, you know, we are, and it's particularly now, right, with this, what's happening in the world now, we're seeing this is something that's affecting us globally.
Mm.
And the way to come together and, you know, move through it is to come together, you know, and realize that we're all fighting the same battles, I think.
Yes, yes, and it's fun. It's really fun to be taking this journey with both of you, because I very much wanted strong, decisive women characters, you know,
Mm.
and again, both Jelena and Lynn Talmadge Dara, who becomes Adara to Lynn, you're both very strong. You sort of know what you want. You go after what you want. You're not in the shadow of some, you know, mansplaining guy. So you know, so but it's fun, Jelena, with you. I mean,
Science fiction, then. No, I'm joking.
but the fun part is that because it's taking such a long time to make Space Command, I you know, like Jacob Weddle, who played Bob Picardo's son, is when we filmed him, he was like 9 or 10. Now he's like 17, and you know, it's like a science fiction version of Boyhood. And you know, but the fun part is, like with you, Jelena, now you have a child. Now you have, you know, a husband. You there's, and so we continue that life. And the fun part is, um, because it's science fiction, I can put you back in the show. I can do, I mean, because we're jumping over all these 180 years, I can have that happen as ideas occur to me. For instance, I didn't until we did Ripple Effect, because the pandemic gave me the idea of doing this crazy 2-hour episode where the actors would film their own scenes. Um, you know, I thought, oh well, we can put Jelena in, and you had your son in the shot, and it was great, you know, to say, oh well, she's got a grandson, Andrej, you know, so it's like it was very fun. And Catherine, the fun part with you was that we introduced where a little bit of where your character is going in the very last shot of the episode, and I was using bits and pieces. So actually, the monologue that Brian did in that scene with you was actually his audition monologue that he did back in 2012. So and then we put him in a spaceship of optically for this, and then put you as the reverse shot, and so we're using a lot of bits and pieces that I've wanted to use a long time. So I don't know if you want to talk anything more about this interesting miracle of being in a science fiction show where you're being put into scenes, or I mean anything else you want, either of you want to say about Space Command or this strange journey. It's definitely unusual for how things are usually made.
Jelena, do you want to?
Well, you said something about, you know, languages way back and a while back into conversation, and I just wanted to sort of like honor you for bringing both Mira and I into a situation where we're playing our nation, you know,
Yes.
like bureaucrats, whatever,
Yeah.
and we're being depicted as humans, because my experience having been in Hollywood for like 10 years almost, I was coming up on 10 years just maybe like in October, was that somehow I've always gone for these roles of like bad, you know, like my like archetypes were like, I don't even know, it was mostly like just like murderers,
Yeah.
you know, bitches,
Right.
women who will get you, and all these things. And the fact that you created these two characters who are from the Balkans, and they're just like mother and daughter, and they speak this language,
Yeah.
and on the contrary, they're not bad, they're not they're actually protagonists, you know. And so I just wanted to thank you for that, because on behalf of my nation, because if you've only watched Hollywood movies and you've never heard of a Serbian person, you
Yes.
would be convinced that we're all like
Thanks.
so I really, really want to honor that. And then in terms of like science fiction, you know, there's so much about what you wrote that is different than, again, stereotypical. Like, I feel like you've just, with this project, that you've broken so many stereotypes that both science fiction suffers from, and Hollywood suffers from, and whatever movies in general in the world suffer from. And I really, really enjoy that so much. And watching you develop this project into now a series and all that stuff while I was making a family and developing my baby into now a toddler. And it's just been such an wonderful experience of, like seeing like, oh, this human is growing and now he can talk, and this thing that was supposed to be this little movie now became this big series, and there's like all these people, and I've met so many. Each year we went to Comic-Con,
Yes.
and I would meet like Angelique and like all these new amazing actors and movie makers who came on board of this project.
Yes.
So it just became like this huge Space Command family. For me, at least, like that's been the experience. And like seeing you, Katherine, today, like, oh my God, it's like
so nice.
It's just been like such a warm experience. Like that's really what strikes me the most about Space Command. Not only is it written as like, oh, these characters are real humans with real emotions and real warmth, but also like we as a whole have become, I mean, Brian, like they've all become my best friends. You know what I mean? Like I miss them when I don't see them. And so, and Mira and I, of course, that's become a really beautiful friendship. And so I've just been, each time we interact, it's just been such a warm experience. And I'm so grateful for that. Like it's very, very different from
Hollywood.
all else.
But see, there's a term we use here in Hollywood for most roles that women play, which is bullshit. It's like most women have to play such shitty, ridiculous, crazy bum roles, And fortunately, I was raised by a strong woman. My mom was a single divorcee mom raising me. And of course, I'm married to a strong woman. Elena and I have been together. We just celebrated our 43rd anniversary. And we've been together 44 years total.
Wow.
And but again, so I feel a mission to write fully rounded characters, to write people who are people, and I think it's really fun. I mean, I don't know if even with Victor Manso in Ripple Effect, I wanted to write a scene in Spanish with him, with his fiancée, and with his father, and again, totally in Spanish. And it's like, but it's not a stereotypical thing, because so many of my friends who are actors, women and also of course Latinos and Black actors, I mean, they have to like audition for, and it's like they want to get those jobs, but those roles are so bad for the most part, and particularly with women roles, it's like, oh, supportive girlfriend, supportive wife, and the husband's the main character or the boyfriend's the main character, and you're just kind of like saying, well, I'll be here when you get back, it's like, oh, Jesus Christ, and whereas in my experience, women, generally in tense situations, the ones who are falling apart and getting hysterical are the men. And the women are holding things together, and so I feel very strongly about that, and so I'm really, but thank you for the kind words. It's deliberate. It's a deliberate part of this project, and fortunately, science fiction, allows for strong women characters, whether it's Ripley in Alien or the Uhura was of course in Star Trek, and they gave her more and more to do, and so forth. So Katherine, in terms of, I mean, your character, again, it's fun because it's been a long wait to get to do all the fun stuff you're going to be doing. And
right.
Yeah, so.
But that's, that's also how it goes, isn't it? You just keep the little flame alive, and then when the stars align, they step in.
Yes, well, it's fun because the, our studio is up and we're prepping for shooting the next thing we're going to shoot, and that has the framing story where you and Mira, have an adventure, and it's particularly focused on you and the choice you have to make, and introducing, Matt Kemmer, Aaron Gaffey, who finally in Ripple Effect got to wear the uniform after all these years, so we finally, poor Aaron Gaffey, and now we no longer have to call him poor Aaron Gaffey because he finally got to have a scene.
Now he's just Aaron Gaffey.
Yes, he's just Aaron Gaffey, but I think it's so fun working with you guys, and I love the international flavor of this project. I mean, the fact that you're from England, the fact that Jelena's from Serbia, I mean, I think that's a plus. I love it, and and this new technology allows us all to talk and be together, even though we're you know, a world apart in your case, yeah, Jelena. So, and but also the fun part is, I think at one point you asked me what's your character's name, and I said, oh, she's Jelena. You know.
I know. And I was like, really, Mark? Really? You couldn't give me some space name, Jelena? But then I forget how exotic my name is. You
Yeah,
know, like I forget
yeah,
what it is. It's
yeah,
like, I'm sure, like, you know, if you came here, Mark Secrete,
yeah,
I mean,
yes,
but to you, it's normal. Like,
yes,
I was like, really, Mark?
yeah.
Really?
Well, the funny thing is, I never knew where the name Zikri came from until because my grandfather abandoned the family before my dad was born. My dad only met his father 3 times in his whole life, and I never
Wow.
met my grandfather. But when the Twilight Zone Companion came out, a distant relative saw my name on the book and contacted me, and she had the family tree back to the 17th century. And so I found out where my family is from. My family's from Morocco, of all things. So
Wow.
Zikri is a Moroccan name. So
Wow, that must have
I
been
would have
amazing.
never thought
never
that.
guessed. Never guessed. Though my father had very dark skin, olive complexion. My brothers all have dark skin and dark hair. And you know, yeah, when they were kids growing up in Orange County, the INS would stop them thinking they were illegal, you know, Mexicans. So and
Wow.
yeah, so pretty crazy, huh? And apparently Zikri, apparently I've been told that in Arabic it means teacher. I have to verify that, but that's what I've been told. So pretty crazy, huh? So
Wow.
we all journey to America one way or another. So but so I guess in terms of well, I guess Catherine, I don't know what you know if you'd like to say more about Space Command or more about this crazy journey or anything you'd like to talk about.
I mean, I'll just you said it so well, Jelena, about the fully well-rounded characters and the fact that we're all human and we have and there's an international feeling to the project, which is so important because I don't know about you, but I've always seen the world in those terms because I guess because I traveled so much and then I've had so many different kinds of friends and been in so many different worlds. That's very much how the world appeared. And
Mhm.
there is this inconsistency with that. And then the worlds we sometimes see depicted on the screen that
Mhm.
are very limited. And
Mhm.
so I do feel that it is not, it isn't reflective at all of actual experiences. And I know, I mean, obviously, and I do totally, Jelena, hear what you're saying about those stereotypes that people from the Balkans might be, put into here in LA. And similarly, English people have it, in probably different degrees. We're often in the supervillain, or the kind of hapless, charming. We all have these like stereotypes from our country. And I think that it's so nice when, like in science fiction and the world that you've created, that we're able to actually not see a hopeful vision of the future, but to see the actual vision that we all live in on a day-to-day basis, right? We do know women that are married to women and men are married to men and all
Yes.
different kinds of relationships and intelligences and needs and wants. And it's nice to see with this project them actually being reflected. And in terms of like it's very appropriate that during this time where we can only be connected with Zoom, and you are a sci-fi guy, that you have been innovative and used technology to find a way to film something during this quarantine. it's
Yes.
it's very it's very sci-fi.
It was fun.
It's very meta what you did.
It was well, the fun part, well, the way I work with my team is I'll come up with a crazy idea. I'll tell my team my crazy idea. They'll go absolutely pale and they'll say, we can't possibly do that. And I just keep insisting until we do it. And, you know, so, and that's the case with with Ripple Effect. It was like I said, I'm going to do an episode during the pandemic and the actors will shoot their own scenes and so on and so forth. And they just came around, you know, and, but the fun part was that we were shooting scenes with our actors. We were shipping costumes and all over the place. But we shot scenes with actors here in LA, in Portugal, in Saskatchewan, in Canada, in Atlanta, in upstate New York, in upstate California, all over the place, and it worked, you know, and because I knew all the actors were stuck at home going crazy, you know, I thought they would enjoy having something that would be interesting to do, and but then of course it became. It's initially it was just going to be a vignette, and then it grew to 1 hour, and then it grew to 2 hours, and so that's why I came up with the introduction scene of the characters introducing who the hell they were. And we actually now have a genealogical chart with everyone on it.
I saw that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. And I really appreciated the introduction as well, because I was like, I refer back to that often.
Yes.
So I can kind of, yeah.
Oh, it. Yeah, I know.
It's epic. It's expansive.
Yeah. Well, the first season is 14 hours, and
Ah,
the novel's already written, the audio
wow.
prequel, all this stuff is done. And it's funny because for all these years, I'm walking around with this in my head. So I know who these characters are and I know where the story goes. But I'm so eager to get it out into the world and share the journeys of your characters with the audience, you know, and it's because it's so fun. And oh, and the other thing I should tell you guys is something we're also doing because we have our own studio, is a physical studio, is we're doing something called the Showrunners Network, where I'm creating 6 shows with 6 major showrunners, and then we're going to shoot all 6 pilots and take it out as a slate of 6 series to the buyers via
Wow.
platforms. So we're actively embarked on that now. 2 of my partners are Rockney O'Bannon, who created Farscape and Alien Nation and Sequest and Defiance. He's currently executive producer on Evil on CBS. And one of my other partners is Mark Fergus, who he and his partner wrote Iron Man, Children of Men, and they've created and run The Expanse. And so so these 6 shows like that. And so we just finished the first pilot script. It's called Sweet Haven. And ironically, Rockney O'Bannon and I thought of it before the pandemic, but it's basically an bioengineered disease gets out of hand and kills everyone in the world under 60. So the people 60 and above have to figure out how to save the world. So it's
Like, yeah, we have our day. Fuck
yeah,
ageism. That's awesome.
yes.
Every actor over
So
60 who plays that's going to be so happy.
yeah, it's so fun. It's so fun. And I've written a role for George Takei and all these older actors that I know that are so wonderful. And
Yeah, who are wonderful, and their life experience and the experiences as actors and the richness of their lives. Like, that is an incredible concept, because we want to see that right on screen. We want to see the legacy and the career that they've, you know, developed. I think that's great. What a great.
And it's about writing things that are not stereotype. It's about showing the humanity of people who are seen as other, you know, the stereotype of old people. And so,
Yes.
but it's interesting because even in Ripple Effect, our youngest actor in Ripple Effect in the Space Command episode, our youngest actor was 9 and our oldest actor was 88.
Nice.
And
Do you remember Cocoon?
yes, yes, yes.
Oh my God, I feel like that's the only movie I remember that was specifically about old. Jelena, have you seen it?
No.
Unbelievable. It's about these old people. Well, I won't spoil it, but it's their journey into a better place, and they're all in this. They're in like an old person's home, right?
Yes, it has Wilford
Amazing.
Brimley. Yeah, it's fun.
Oh my God, I have to watch that.
You have to see it. But aside from that, Mark, I feel like that's the only kind of like mainstream movie that came to mind. So what a great concept. And I like how you've reversed it too, that it's all the young ones that die off.
Yeah. And it's really fun working on that. And so my friend Mike Harney, who played Jack Cameron's dad in Space Command, is going to be one of the leads, and Barbara Bain from Mission Impossible in Space 1999, and just a bunch of great actors. Mira Furlan's in that one too, Bob Picardo. Mira and Bob in that show play a married couple where there's an experiment to see if the older people can be given in vitro fertilization to carry a baby to term. And she's of course lost all of her children to this disease even before that, during the war, you know, Bosnia and all of that. She lost children in her first family as well. And so she and Bob Picardo have to decide if they can face the pain, the grief, the emotional grief that all opens up. And they decided to go for it, to try, even if whatever that happens, because the people who are over 60 can't reproduce naturally, and so they have to find a way to save humanity, because otherwise humanity will die out. And so it's this really interesting, so there's lots of bits and pieces. And George Takei plays this sort of philanthropist, super rich guy, but he's a gay man. He lost his husband in this plague. His husband was younger. And so it's just this fun, strange thing. So the point being,
that's awesome.
But so we're going to do six new shows, and so I'm sure there'll be things for you guys to do as well.
I mean, I've aged 20 years during the quarantine. I don't know about you. I'm just like holding on for dear life.
You're so cute. You look amazing. Stop it.
I'm just like, it's been Being a
Yes,
home.
it's a challenge, but I saw it as an opportunity. That's why I came up
Yeah,
with the idea for Ripple Effect, because I thought um, we can create something positive out of this, and
we can. We
that was a
absolutely
great fun
can.
part of it. So, well, I think we've come to the end of our time, but I'm so glad to be working with both of you, and
Yeah.
it's such a joy. And stay safe and stay well. I don't know if there's anything you'd like to say in conclusion, either of you, but please
Just
do.
can't wait to continue on the journey and meet amazing people and actresses like you, Jelena, and to continue working with you. And yeah, I wish everyone in the project the best of luck, and to anyone, out there watching, this too shall pass. And like you said, Mark, we'll all get through it if we all come together. So
Yes, well said. And Jelena, anything you'd like to say in
Oh,
conclusion?
thank you so much for saying all that, Catherine. You're so articulate. I've just enjoyed like just listening to you. Yeah, same. I'm just so grateful to be a part of this, and so moved by everyone's willingness to do anything that they need to do, and the fact that people have pulled their resource, and like we've all filmed the little scenes. Like I can't wait to see the finished product, and it's so exciting everything that you've been talking about Mira and Bob in this new thing, and yeah, I've been like you, Catherine. I've been really, this has been like for everybody challenging, and I've been telling people stay sane,
Yes,
because like I feel like we are pretty, most people I know are pretty good at staying safe, but
yeah,
I feel like we all need to stay sane and
yeah,
just like really take care of our little
yeah,
soul inside, and ourselves in that way. So that's my wish for you two and for everyone watching, to take care of their little soul.
yeah. That's
oh, I
great.
love that.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you both for
And I
being.
can't wait to hug you, Catherine.
Yeah.
Yay!
Can't wait for a hug in real life. Exactly.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Missing the hugs.
yes. So, well, it's been lovely talking with both of you. And again, yes, stay safe, stay sane. Let people know you love them, and we'll
Yes.
get through all of this together. And thanks so much for being part of my mad creative experiment.
It's
So,
amazing. My price is one of those little 3D dolls. That's
yes, yes, we'll do the entire cast. It'll be very, very
Yeah. Oh,
cool.
I would
full
love that.
exoskeleton.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, great. Well, thanks very much, guys, and we'll talk again soon.